name's Nick. This is Aaron. Doug and Zach invited us in just to today, kind of just in general terms, talk a little bit about the retirement plan they're going to put into place starting first of the year. Today's conversation is just general terms, what it is, how it works, a little bit about the investment stuff, but that's going to be more next week if you decide to sign up when we get into the nuts and bolts of the specific investments. Overall, the plan that they're going to put in place for you guys is called a simple IRA. Very similar to 401ks or deferred comp plans if you guys have any of those with previous employers, with one big exception that these guys are gracious enough to do. They're required by law to match up to 3% of your salary. So if you contribute 3%, they have to match 3%. No questions asked. Right on your same time your deposit goes in, their match goes in. So it's a really good benefit from an employer standpoint. So there's no vesting schedule on it. It's first dollar in, it's yours right away. So quick example, you make $500. I think you guys are paid weekly. $500 a week, 3% of that's $15. If you guys put $15 in the plan, your first savings is going to show 30 going in because they're matching. You guys can put up to $12,500 a year in if you choose, but if you're going to participate in your retirement plan, kind of crazy not to go at least 3% because Doug and Zach are going to match you on that. So just in case you guys haven't participated in plans like this before, a real brief summary of how retirement plans work. That money that goes into your plan goes in before taxes. So any money you contribute into the plan is going in on a tax deferred basis. So you don't have federal, state, or local taxes coming out of that portion of your pay each week. The money that's in the account grows on a tax deferred basis. It's got to stay in there until you're at least 59 and a half. Of course, the same way as IRAs or any other retirement plan, to avoid having to pay an IRS penalty to get it out. And then 59 and a half and beyond, once you start taking funds out for retirement income, they're taxed as normal income would be. Okay, so you're not paying taxes on them now. You get tax deferral on the asset growth while they're in the account, and then when they come out, they're taxed as income at that point. Two other little specialties to a simple IRA versus 401k plans or deferred comp plans. One, there are no loan provisions, so once the money's in here, it's in here. It shouldn't be putting money in here that you want to use for a savings account or anything that's more of a short-term financial objective. This is a true retirement account. So once it's in here, as long as you're still employed at Pinpoint Painting, it can't come out until retirement. The second caveat is with a simple IRA, there is a 2-year holding period. So if you put money into the plan, and I don't want or think any of this is going to happen, but just so everybody's upfront on the rules, put money into the plan, for whatever reason in June you leave the company, money's got to stay in the plan until January of 2024, 2 years from when the plan goes into play. There are no withdrawal provisions in a simple IRA plan for the first 2 years the money's in the plan. Okay? So I gave you guys each two little handouts. The first one with this a little bit more paper bound and not glossy. This is just a general piece on how simple IRAs work, some of the benefits of savings starting young, what kind of projections to expect, and the advantages of taking the benefits of taking advantage of that employer match. Okay. The second one, the glossy one, and again, these are things for you guys to take back and think about. The second one, generally what we do when it comes to specific investment selection, the money manager that Doug and Zach have chosen for this plan is American Funds. They're the largest mutual fund family in the world. They're bigger than Fidelity and Vanguard combined. They have 91 investment options that we can choose from, some good, some not as good. But generally when we're talking about retirement savings, especially when we're starting from scratch, they have a really good portfolio of target date funds. So just based on your age, you pick the year you're going to turn, or the year closest to when you're going to turn 65. They internally manage the money for us. The younger you are, the more aggressive it is. And then as you approach retirement, it gradually gets more conservative with the mindset, rightfully so, that once you're getting closer to reaching a point where money's gonna start coming out of here to supplement your retirement income, you don't wanna be taking as much risk. We all know somebody, whether it's a neighbor, a parent, a grandparent, who was getting ready to retire in 2007, market dropped 30% in 2008. Some of those people are still working today, but they had to extend how long they were planning on working. They left their assets a little bit too aggressive and too vulnerable, and it's tough to recover from a 40% hit when you've got months or a couple years to do it. So the big advantage to these target date funds is they're internally managed to get more conservative as you approach retirement age. Obviously, and these are conversations we'll have when we sit down next week and sign up for the plan, if you want to be more aggressive, we can get more aggressive. This is not a one-fit-all. No investment selection is binding. You guys will all have online access to your accounts. When you sign up, first thing you're going to get in the mail is a Welcome to America Funds letter with instructions on how to set up online access. You, on your own or with our assistance, can move money around anytime you choose. Those are not the type of investment advisors we generally are. We're buy and hold guys, so if you're looking for our advice, we're going to set a long-term strategy and stick to it. If you're more of the kind of person that likes to do it on your own and hop in or out of things, and you think you know what's going to happen next in the economy, fully capable, have at it. That's just not the strategy that we generally use. We're going to be more long-term buy and hold type of guys. Okay, so the process on the plan, if you guys decide you do want to participate, again, it doesn't start till January 1st, the first payroll of next year. Just let Doug know sometime over the course of this week. We're coming back next Monday to sign people up, so he's going to schedule you guys in 15 or 20 minute blocks to come in one at a time. A, we don't want to talk about finances in front of each other. B, that's when we'll be able to sit down and just have a one-on-one. If you guys have specific questions about, hey, if I do this, what would it project to? What's the smartest way I can invest if I'm middle of the road or if I'm extremely aggressive? Those are the conversations we generally like to have more on a one-on-one basis, which will be part of those conversations on Monday when we come back in, okay? You will need to have some decisions made on Monday. What percentage of your income, or of your paycheck you want to put back first and foremost. If you're gonna sign up for the plan, when we're doing the paperwork next week, we do have to have beneficiaries listed on the accounts. So you guys will need to have with you name, date of birth, social security number, and address for anyone you want to list as a beneficiary on your account. Other than that, just your driver's license. Everything else you guys should have off the top of your heads. So we would need to know how much you want to participate into the plan, full details on your beneficiary information, and your driver's license information.
I had a question.
Yeah, shoot.
I just want to throw it out there just to make sure, because I know that you say you can't touch it for 2 years.
Yep.
And then you say there's penalties. So after 2 years, is it 10% penalty?
After 2 years, you got
if you were to withdraw, it'd be 10%.
After 2 years, it works the same as any retirement plan in the country. There's if you take money out of any retirement plan prior to turning age 59 and a half, there's a 10% flat penalty right off the top to the IRS for an early retirement plan distribution. In addition to that, anything you take is immediately added to your taxable income for that year, including the penalty. So you've got basically 60 to 75 cents on the dollar, depending on what your income bracket is and what your tax rate is. But a flat 10% penalty to the IRS on anything that comes out of that account prior to 59 and a half, and then all of it is instantly added to your taxable income for that calendar year. Okay. Second thing, and thanks for bringing that up, Zach, that I didn't touch on, the cost on the plan. There's only one cost associated with this plan to you guys, and that's an upfront based commission on deposits only. Once the money's in the plan, it's free and clear. It's paid for. Okay? The larger the plan gets, the smaller that is. And I know that's kind of tricky, and it's based on the whole, not you guys individually. So the first $25,000 of total plan assets, not each of your individual accounts, total money in the Pinpoint plan, a 5.5% commission comes right off the front. So just to put that into perspective, going back to my original example, if you're making $500 a month, or a week, a pay, you put in 3%, that's 15. Doug and Zach match 3%, that's 15, so you got a total of $30 going in, about $1.65 of that's gonna come off the top as an upfront commission. Once that's in, it's paid for, it's free and clear. Every $50,000 increment, it drops 0.5%. So once the plan gets to 50,000, it drops to 5. Once the plan gets to 100,000, it drops to 4.5, and so forth. So every $50,000 increment of plan balance, that charge drops by 0.5%. So on a $100 deposit, initially, it's gonna cost you guys $5.50. Once the money's in, it's done. Free and clear, you can move it around inside American Funds as often or as little as you want. Once it's there, it's paid for. That's the only cost you guys see on the plan. Okay? I know it's very general and broad, guys. I just kind of wanted to give you an understanding of, hey, the availability is there for you guys to participate in the retirement plan. Doug and Zach are gonna match you up to 3% of your income on anything you put into the plan. We've got a world available to us as far as investment options go. I generally start with the target date funds until we get up to individual account balances in the $20,000 to $25,000 range. Then it makes a little bit more sense to micromanage it a little more and kind of split off into specific investments. But the safe and steady approach is usually a good way to get started. You guys aren't dumb. You watch TV, you listen to the radio. A lot of people in my position think that we're gonna have some rocky times coming in the stock market. If you saw what happened Friday or what today looks like already with this new strain of the COVID virus, you guys are getting in on the ground floor here, which makes it even better when you're putting in money on a consistent basis, because you're buying in at both good and bad times, which gives you a pretty solid average cost basis to build that foundation on. Okay? So again, over the course of the next couple days, if you guys are interested in joining the plan, let Doug know. He'll give you a time slot for next Monday. At that time, I'll sit down with you one-on-one. I'll grab 2 quick signatures from you, get the information. I'll need to get the information from you I mentioned earlier. Contribution percentage, beneficiary information, driver's license information, and I'll specifically address any one-on-one questions you guys have regarding your investment time frame, your risk tolerance. I'm here to help. Once these guys hire me, they hire me for you. So if you have questions on old stuff that you have with previous employers, your wife or girlfriends have questions about their 401ks, I'm more than willing and open to help you guys address those kind of questions too. That's not just Monday. Once you come in Monday, one of the things we'll give you guys in the packet is our contact information. So we're always there to help from a financial standpoint. Simply, hey, how should my wife split up her 401k, to what's the best way to refinance my house? All those types of questions are things that we field. So we're happy to help with any financial related questions. But in the short term, we did kind of push it back a little bit because you guys are trying to get some jobs in while you could in the weather. We've got to get signed up by Monday if we want everything up and running for the first of the year. So that's when we're going to be back up to do the actual enrollments.
Are there any caps on your yearly contribution?
$12,500 for you. That does not include the 3% match. So the employee can contribute $12,500 plus whatever the match accumulates.
And is that only from your wages? Yes. Let's say for, yes, okay.
Yeah, anything from your W-2 wages.
Okay.
So these plans, like say we leave in 2 or 3 years,
Yep.
it's just something we could keep contributing to, but we just wouldn't be getting the match anymore.
Yes, but it's not quite that easy. You would need to touch base with us, and we would just simply have to change the title on your account from the Pinpoint Simple IRA to your individual IRA. It's one form, but once that form is signed, then yes. So the money that's sitting in there is always yours. Right. It can sit in there until the day you take it out. It doesn't matter how long you work here. If you want flexibility with it, if you want to be able to add to it, you've got to get it out of the company if you're not working here any longer and make it your own individual IRA. Okay. You'll also at that time, if you get different jobs, have the capabilities of moving it into your new retirement plan at your new employer. or just leaving it segregated on its own.
You have like a website with like a list of investment opportunities?
Yep, AmericanFunds.com. So just the name on both brochures.
Does that change often, like who you,
Who, as far as who we use for
Yeah,
these
like-
plans, sometimes I would say often no. Is it possible it could change? Yes. We use American Fund. I've been doing this since 1997. I would say 3/4 of my small employer retirement plans are with American Funds, for the simple reason that, one, they've got a track record since 1932 of doing it better than anybody else across the spectrum. Every once in a while, somebody will have a good year. So, the Fidelity Technology Fund last year had a ton of Tesla, so they had a super year last year. So every once in a while, you'll see an off-lier like that. But if you're looking at 5, 10, 15, 20-year track records of consistently outperforming all their peers, these guys haven't. That's why they're the biggest and oldest in the world. The byproduct of them being the biggest is they're the cheapest. So that's another reason we tend to lean towards them. They've got economies of scale. They've got $500 billion under management, so they can hop around without having to pay all the higher fees that a lot of the smaller competitors do. Their weakness, bluntly and right off the top, is the ultra aggressive stuff. These guys are not going to get into Bitcoin or cryptocurrency until they can see a solid 10 or 15-year track record with it and get some fundamentals on it. They're not going to jump into Tesla when it's selling at 2,000 price to earnings ratio, when a good growth technology company on average trades is about $150 price to earnings ratio. So they're going to hold what they bought when it was smaller, but they're not going to be piling onto it right now. So they're going to be fundamental investors. They're going to use investment techniques and fundamentals that they've been using for 80 years. And that's one of the reasons we lean on them, because we know what to expect. All right, you guys got anything else?
Awesome. What do you guys think?
I'm done.
Good?